Recently I showed you what some of the rumored iOS 13 features are. Now I'm going to show you what some of the awesome features to have would be by showing you some cool concepts. I'm Skylar, let's get started. So, our first concept is iOS 13 concept by Apple iDesigner and Skyline News. So, the first thing right here with this concept is a redesigned lock screen. And a couple of these first things are very similar to the Apple Watch. So you see this switch between custom setups by 3D touching or long pressing. That's pretty much exactly what we have with the Apple Watch, where you can switch faces by doing that same thing. And if we look at this next one, we can see that just like the watch, you can customize these elements. In fact, they went a little too similar to the watch, where it has the little slidey bar. I don't know how much I like that part, but yeah, it's got these complications, those cool things like that, which will be kind of cool to have on an iPhone instead of the Apple Watch. Same thing here with this wallpaper selection and the always on display, something that is not on the Apple Watch, but is kind of with that idea of every time you look at it, it's supposed to be on. So it shows up like that. You've got your always on display with some complications, time, date, some simple things like that. That right there would be cool to have. That's something that a lot of Android phones have and would be really nice to see on the iPhone. Now, here we've got some dark mode related things. So here's our home screen. It looks exactly like the iOS 12 home screen, except for one thing that I just noticed that appears to only be in this image, and no, it's in all the images. So if you look in the top right hand corner, you can see that the battery has a little tiny icon, and then it also shows the battery percentage. This is also a little bit of a, I guess you can see a contrast between the dark UI and the light UI. So I guess on the more left one, you can see a darker bar. On the right, you can see a lighter and a darker one. So we can also see on the iPad, we can see a little concept here, but it does just appear to look like iOS 12. Now let's look at this next thing, which shows us a few things here. We've just got the view off to the left. It's got 3D touch, but the more important thing here is the less intrusive interface for Siri. We'll see that in, I think, pretty much every concept we look at, because that would be something awesome to have right there. Same with these less intrusive phone calls, which are nice to have. Kind of, both of these are kind of like notifications. I think that's nice. And again, volume HUD. That right there, something we'll see in a lot of these concepts as well. Something that is a rumored feature, something that is very important to finally get. Picture-in-picture on iPhone, something good to have. We'll see a few concepts with that picture-in-picture idea, split screen, things like that, which maybe should be on bigger iPhones, but maybe not the smaller ones. Now we can see real dark mode here. We've got, takes advantage of the OLED display, looks really nice. It looks like it's got a slightly redesigned settings and contacts app right there, which look kind of nice. We can see next we've got Photos app in black, and we've got Safari in black. It looks really nice. I hope that this dark mode comes. It's a rumored feature. All of these concepts have it. We've been waiting for a while. Hopefully it comes. Here we can see it on the iPad. It looks good there. And redesigned apps. So some of these are rumored, some of them aren't. Apple Music, I don't know if it necessarily needs a redesign. This one's pretty simple, so that could be fine. Got some more things here with artists, social. I don't think that the social aspect of Apple Music is ever really going to take off. I think it's just going to stick as it is right now. So some more redesigned app. Camera has got a basic little thing here with smart detection of objects and scene detection. That's good to have there. I kind of like that. And then also with the camera, something awesome that we need is this ability to change your settings inside the app. That is something you have to go into settings for right now, and is terrible to have to do. Pausing video recording, that's just something that should already be there, something that other apps already provide. That's just something normal. Some simple other features, close all apps at once. I think the reason that's not in iOS right now is because Apple doesn't really support you doing that. It's not something they necessarily want you to do. So, but that probably won't come. Locking apps, I can't see Apple doing that one, but that one is a really pretty interesting one. Locking apps, you can then unlock it with Face ID, Touch ID, passcode, or something of that sort. And this next one is just that Siri suggestion things that is a great idea, but it's never really worked out great. If Apple could get this Siri suggestions thing to work well, kind of like it does here, where this person asks for a picture of New York, it suggests them, and then here, we can send some of these pictures of New York. That's very useful. Before I was talking about that split view, we can see the split view again. That's nice to see. This calculator on the iPad is something that really should have just been there already. I mean, why wasn't it? Mouse support for iPad, a rumored feature which would be really awesome to have. Multiple users on iPad is something we see surprisingly often in these concepts, and it's actually a really awesome idea that I would like to be on iPhone as well. And you can choose which apps people can use. So if you have guests or kids, you can restrict which apps they can use. Although instead of graying them out, I would choose that they just wouldn't show up on their users. Easily changing accounts from the control center, useful to have. Although other concepts have it like from the cover sheet, which looks nice as well. So that was that concept by Apple iDesigner and Skyline News. Now let's look at this iOS 13 Do More with iPad concept. This is by Leo Valle, I think it's how you pronounce his name. So the first thing here is something that I've seen quite a bit of people complain about, is toggling off the 150 megabyte download limit on cellular data. That would be really awesome to have. Then we've got the mouse, using it to connect to your iPad, but also the keyboard, the magic keyboard along with the magic mouse. I think that right there is really cool to add on to, and I hope Apple adds that just to make the iPad a more complete experience. It looks really good to have the iPad and that on there. Running external displays is something we've seen before in the other concepts for just more useful applications, such as Xcode, so seeing your code on external display, running it on the iPad, and same thing with video editing. Multitasking in the control center. This one is awesome to me. I love the idea here that we can have multitasking and the control center together. That's something that the iPad has, and that would look awesome on the iPhone. We can also see individual things for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular. I really like the idea of that. And we've also got dark mode, something we've seen on like all of these concepts. Volume control, that one's awesome to have, seeing that volume control right there. I think that idea with the volume control, it's awesome to have that. So I posted on my Instagram a concept that I made for the control center. It's just a small little picture, but I like the look of that, and I'm going to show you that concept right now. So you can see that up on your screen right now. It's got like the Wi-Fi and stuff separately. I'm still working on it a little bit, but I like what I've done with it so far. I think it's a good idea to split up Wi-Fi so you can do things like turn on Wi-Fi, connect to Wi-Fi networks inside of the control center.